thank you for taking the time out to do my podcast.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure, truly.
Oh, good. Well, we digress. We were talking about how Rachael was a fellow wrestler that lived in Florida and survived COVID-free.
Yay!
Well done, my sister. Good fight.
Thank you. Big successes here for me.
So I like to start out every podcast off a little bit differently, but I've kind of been getting into this flow where, okay, let's be honest. Wrestling interviews are painful.
Okay, yeah.
Really painful. We're asked like the same handful of questions. You give the same redundant answer. You want to pull your hair out. You don't want to do the interview. Is there anything that your fans don't know about you that no one ever asks that you'd like your fans to know?
Oh man, you know what? I do get, yes, 100%. I get asked the same things all the time. It's usually, did you go to your dad's shows and stuff growing up? And it's, no, my dad didn't let us watch wrestling. He didn't want me to be a wrestler, that whole thing.
Yep.
And then it's, does your dad help you now? Really, it's just they want to interview my dad.
So for our listeners that don't know, Rachael is a generational wrestler.
I am, unfortunately.
Moving on. The end. That
yes.
now doesn't matter. We've said
that was it. Yep. You know what? I never really get asked about just anything outside of wrestling that I enjoy, which, no joke, girl. Wrestling is the love of my life.
Of course.
It's the greatest thing in the entire world. It's
course.
all I've ever wanted to do. I love it with every single ounce of my being. But everybody has other things that they enjoy, right?
Yes.
And so I do have other things that I enjoy. And, a big one is basketball. I really, really enjoy basketball, playing and watching. And so I'm a big sports junkie. Same with football. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan because I'm a Minnesota girl.
Yeah,
it's
girl.
painful at times, but you know what? I don't waver. I am a true Minnesotan, and so
Good.
I'm a big Minnesota sports fan. I love animals. I am obsessed with sea otters, which
I love otters. Otters are my favorite.
Oh my gosh, really?
Truly.
Yes. Wow, this is the best day of my life. Oh, you guys, me and Taylor Wilde, we love sea otters.
You know what it is? They're so adorable. Like they
I'm
hold
obsessed
hands.
with them. They hold hands. I call them, they're like water teddy bears.
Yes.
They're little water teddies. They are the greatest thing in the entire world. So when the pandemic started, this is how I fell in love with sea otters. So this is relevant. I'm not just going back to the pandemic.
Okay.
So when the pandemic started, I discovered this little rescued baby sea otter online. And he was, a week old. He was like 7 pounds. He's just this little fuzzball. And his mom died. And so he's a little orphan otter. I could cry. His name is Joey. And Joey was rescued because baby sea otters spend like the first 6 months on their mom's bellies, right? So if they don't have a mom, they don't survive. And so you just hope they get rescued. Thankfully, he was by the Marine Mammal Rescue up in Canada. Yay, Canada. And so now, kind of long story short, he's at the Vancouver Aquarium. And they have 8 otters. All of them are rescues. And they're just this little otter family. And there's this live stream of them on YouTube that I kid you not, I have on all day, every day. And I've seen this little bugger grow up from this little 7-pound fluff ball. And now he's like 50 pounds. Last week was his first birthday. They threw like a birthday party. I cried. So I just watch them every day. And not to make this super sad and serious, but I went through a lot of really difficult stuff in the last year. Okay. And watching them, it's just quiet, right? It's just quiet, and you see them swimming around and holding hands and floating, and they have toys, and they're the cutest. It really would calm me in moments where I would be on the verge of like having a panic attack.
How beautiful.
Yes, and I would just watch them, and it's so peaceful, and it just brought me, I was just tranquil, right? And so those little buggers, they don't know it, but they've gotten me through some really, really difficult times. And so the second I can, I'm going to Vancouver, and I have to see them in person.
Girl,
they won't know who I am, but dang, I will be like taking pictures like a mom.
You don't have to go that far. You come visit me. We'll go for a drive 2 hours outside of Toronto, and they live in Cottage City. Like,
I would love that.
we can swim with them.
Oh my God. I would just be bawling and you would have to be like, girl, get it together.
I'll hold your hand. It's fine. It's
We'll
fine.
be like otters.
We'll do it together.
Yeah. So that's my summary on how I fell in love with sea otters. And they're adorable, but also they help me through some really tough days because they're so damn cute.
Do you want to touch base? Do you want to let any of that realness out? What do you want to talk about? Some of the hard stuff?
I've never really talked about it with anyone other than like my mom and my boyfriend Chris.
Okay.
It's so hard to even find a spot to start. So
Sure.
It kind of all started when I tore my ACL.
Okay.
And anybody who gets injured, it's kind of more mentally difficult than physically at times. And it definitely was for me. I had a lot of bad experiences with the medical staff I was working with. And then COVID hit and both myself and my boyfriend were fired. And so losing our jobs at the start of a pandemic was really scary and really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad because that was my dream job, since I was a kid. And so it's very difficult to kind of come to grips with how poorly that whole experience went. And then obviously how it ended. And then when you realize, oh man, we're in a pandemic. It's not like I can just go somewhere else and work right now.
Yeah.
The world is crazy. We have to be careful. Thankfully we were, like we said.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have these thoughts like, I wish one of us kept our jobs, right? And you're saving up for real life things like, okay, we want to buy a house. I've always wanted to take care of my mom because she's my best friend and my everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so you save and you feel good about it. And then you realize, oh shoot, now I have to take all of that and just try to survive the next how long till things are a little bit more normal. And so that was just all extremely challenging. And I just fell into a really deep hole. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of people did over the last year with everything that's gone on. Yeah. So many people lost their jobs. So many people couldn't see their family. I was still in Florida at that time. My whole family's in Minnesota. Okay. And so all of it, right? And then I love wrestling so much that not being able to do that hurt, like physically hurt me. Right? I'm sure you know that feeling. Yeah. And you almost can't even put that into words, but you're just longing so hard for something. And when you've put so much time and effort and love into something that is your job, and then you're no longer able to do it and you don't know when you'll be able to do it again. Yeah. And that's coming, I was cleared 6 months after my surgery. So like physical wise, I was healthy and all good. Right. But it's like I went through the physical thing and then the mental thing, and it just was back to back things where I couldn't wrestle. So it ended up being this long period where the thing I'm most passionate about and love and want to dedicate my entire life to being great at, you can't do. And you're just stuck in a house, right? And I just got to a really, really bad place. And I don't want to sound terrible. I make this such a negative podcast or anything.
Girl, this is my podcast. I got anxiety. I got depression. I got all the things. Give it, girl. Let it out.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to like bring the mood down.
The whole point of this is like a big feature outside of the fact that I want to focus on female wrestlers is I want to destigmatize anything surrounding mental health, because sure, we're superstars. Sure, we're larger than life. We are professional wrestlers. Right. However, we hurt like everybody else. And if one listener gets help through this is not doom and gloom. Don't worry. We'll change gears. Don't ever say sorry for being real and, telling us your truth, living your truth. That's what I want to hear. And I want this to be a safe space for you and for all our listeners. So please. So that's where you are at now. Just so our listeners know, both you and your partner Chris Hero worked for WWE at the same time.
Yes.
And now you are with Impact. And what is Chris in limbo right now?
So Chris is just kind of waiting for like the perfect thing for him to come back with. Yeah, and he's the smartest person I know. It's absurd how smart he is in all things, right?
Oh,
in
you
wrestling.
must really like him.
Gosh, he's just the best person I've ever met. He is so smart and so kind and just the most beautiful human being. He's so giving, and I could just go on for days about him. He's the best. But I give him so much credit because his whole life has basically been wrestling. Like since he was 18, this has been his job, right? And to be patient in this time, man, good on him, because I had none of it. I am not patient. And so we're almost opposite, where he can see the bigger picture. Right, and he is just calm, cool, and collected at all times. And then I'm over here like, hey, run this spot with me real quick in the dining room. Like, does this work out? And no joke, he will totally get up and be like, okay, let's try it. Here we go.
That's amazing.
And he'll come up with a better idea than the one I had.
The yin to your yang.
Yes. So it works out really, really well. But he's just being patient, and the right thing, I'm sure, is right around the corner. I won't give any spoilers.
Sure. So what helped get you out of that proverbial hole?
Yeah, it was so hard, Taylor. I ended up speaking with someone about an eating disorder I had since I was very young, and then just grew with wrestling, of course, because, physical appearance is such a big thing. Also, our neighbor just started mowing the lawn, and I'm really sorry if you can hear that, everyone.
That's okay. What are you going to do? Sorry, Rachael. Rachel's my producer and editor. I was wondering what the buzzing was. I thought it was on my end, but...
No. Neighbor Dave is going to town in his backyard.
Tell Dave I hate him. Thanks, Dave.
Right. I'll throw him a finger out the window or something. Dave! He has 2 wiener dogs, so he's not that bad.
I heard something completely different, but we'll move on.
Moving on. So I got some help with that eating issue I had, and that's, an everyday process of working through that still. Just like most mental things and any issues, it doesn't just go away, right? It doesn't just, okay, I'm better now. It's just a continual work in progress, right? And so I just slowly started to work on one little thing after another, and I just made sure that I was talking about these things and not just sitting on them myself. Because it's like that. I mean, you're Canadian, and Minnesota is Canada of the States.
We're the same.
And so I never wanted to burden anyone or sound like I was complaining, right? But that's not what it is. It's asking for help, essentially, right? When you're just looking for someone to listen. And thankfully, I have someone like Chris who is just such a good listener, and sometimes you just want to talk and try to put into words what you're feeling, which can be very difficult.
Yes.
And I would feel like I would just be rambling and not even making coherent sentences, right? But he would just be patient and listen. And, it's the same when I was working through the food stuff. I kind of had a few aha moments on, oh, wow, that started when I was really young.
Yeah.
And then it just grew, especially once I got into wrestling. And so I just started to work on little thing after little thing. And, I'll still have days where it's really, really tough. And, I don't feel like getting up and doing anything. But I'll just find, one thing that I can do that day to make myself feel productive and get through it. And that's kind of worked for me. No joke, watching the sea otters every day calms me. It helps me. Every morning I'll have my coffee and watch the otters, and it just kind of starts my day off on a calm note, and I feel ready to go. And so, animals, for some people, if they have a pet, that might be the same kind of thing. So I'm very lucky I have Chris and my mom who are good listeners and just understand me on such a deep level. Yeah. Some people, I've had friends who they just don't get wrestling, right? It's such a unconventional, bizarre line of work. And so it can be really difficult for people to understand, no, this is just like if you lost your job, and then you weren't able to do what you really love and are passionate about, and how difficult that can be. So I'm lucky I have a couple people who really understand that.
Well, that's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing that. I
oh
really
my God.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I'm like sweating. No joke. I'm seriously sweating as I talk about this. Just because I've never talked about it before.
It's at least like a purification process.
It is. Yeah. I feel like I'm in therapy again.
I do that.
Taylor Wilde's podcast therapy. Yeah.
I think it's part and parcel because I'm constantly on this journey to heal, to understand myself, and not to find who I am again, but like you hit on something that's real nerve for me is the Wisconsin Canadian connection is I've gone through a lot in the past 2 months, but more, it's been about 5 years. And I told nobody about what my reality was. And it's because, number one, I was like, I got myself into this, I'm going to deal with it. But number two is I could not deal with the guilt of burdening other people. And this is the first time since it all came to a point where I told everybody that is my person, that's family, friends, whatever. And they were more angry at me for not telling them, for suffering in silence. And, it was a huge wake up call for me. And I am constantly telling myself, do not apologize for your feelings. You're allowed to have feelings. Like, I think it's something that goes with being a woman as well. We live in this culture where you're too emotional or you're too something or you're, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sick of the restraints on women, and more so
Totally.
The restraints I've put on myself. So I totally get where you're coming from. And, I'll try to remind you, you remind me, don't apologize for being you.
Yeah, that is something, just as Minnesotans, Canadians, we say sorry for everything. Everything. And like, it could be good things, right?
Yeah.
Or, oh, sorry. It's just such a habit, but at times a bad habit, right?
Yeah.
Where, I would, exactly what you just said, I would feel guilty for, I felt like a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really difficult feeling. Yeah, that's really hard to work through. And at the same time, not everybody wants to listen in the way that sometimes people need to listen. They listen they're anticipating their response.
Yeah.
And so finding those really great people to confide in, like you said, your people.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. You find your people, right? Yeah. And that's such a powerful thing when you find that and find your voice in that. Yeah, that's such a powerful thing.
Now, you were at WWE, and now you're at Impact, and I did the same thing. I was at WWE, and then I went to formerly TNA.
Yep.
Now, I'm a little bit of an artifact. I'm a little bit more mature than you.
Come on.
So my perception of the jumps are different because WWE was in a very different place in terms of how the women were perceived off back the Divas era, blah blah blah.
Yeah, my least favorite word of all time.
Yeah, it's terrible, but we're moving on.
We're moving forward.
It's fine. But what has been your what do you feel inside? What has been the biggest difference, the growth for you going from WWE to Impact?
I think my mental health is the best it's ever been.
That's huge.
I mean, that's the most important. That's like in life. That's great, right? Yeah. I think the big thing for me is I just truly know who I am, and I can say this with confidence that I am so proud that I never lost sight of who I am through everything I went through, anywhere, right? Up until this point, I had times where I felt like I lost myself a little bit, but I always could see off into the distance, okay, I know who I am. I know my morals and my values. I know what's important to me. And I never fully lost that. And now I've just stepped into that light of truly being that version of myself, right? And embracing all of that and having a voice in that, and not to just sit here and put over the company we both work for, but
put it over.
Yeah, but I truly, honest to God, feel I just was instantly kind of given that opportunity at Impact to show what I can do. And here's a great example of that. I think it was 2 weeks ago now on TV. I had this in-ring long promo, and no joke, Taylor Wilde, I had never cut an in-ring promo before, ever.
Well, okay, so I wasn't at those tapings.
Yeah.
However, I was contacted by a few of our colleagues to tell me about your in-ring promo and how much you killed it.
Oh my gosh, that is
congrats.
so nice. I could cry.
And I watched it, and I was like, Rachael Ellering is here.
Oh, thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you.
So tell me about your experience. Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I had never done an in-ring promo before. That was for TV and an actual show. I've like grabbed the mic after an indie show, but that's like not an in-ring promo where you're like holding the show for a few minutes. And then for it to not just be a rah, I'm a babyface, let's fight kind of promo setting up a match. Yeah. It was like me pleading for my friendship with Jordan, right? And I ended up getting really emotional because, at one point I mentioned to her that this past year was the hardest year of my whole life. And now all of the stuff, why. Mm-hmm. But just in that moment, you reflect back and think about all of that. And it goes so quick in your brain.
Oh, yeah.
Our brains are so weird.
I know.
Where you relive like 100 moments in a split second. And it just really, really got me. And we're in an empty building, and I just was like, oh shoot, I'm really about to cry right now. And so it was really challenging to kind of bare my soul like that and try to not be too down and still hold the show in an entertaining way. But that was very real, right? And I never got a chance to kind of show my promo chops, which I've been able to do here in Impact a couple different times, right? With backstage stuff, we're now in the ring. Yeah. And that was really special for me because, I'm sure there's some people who think otherwise, but I feel like I'm good at promos and I enjoy them immensely. Like, I love public speaking. I'm a weirdo in that sense. Like, I love it. Cherish public speaking. My bachelor's is in communication studies. So this is just a lifelong fun thing for me. But I never got that chance before. And just right away, Impact, they didn't write any promos for me. They didn't tell me, this is who you are. This is what you need to say. Mm-hmm. This is how you need to feel. This is how you need to walk, right? They just said, here, you're going to cut a promo and just speak from the heart, and it's you. And it, honestly, you're like, is someone playing a joke on, like, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, right? So no joke, when I got done with the promo, girl, I walked back there and I was more nervous than before I did the promo because I thought, one, I went a minute or two over, whoops. But two, oh shoot, that really was like all me. And it's not like I told them, hey, I'm gonna call in some real life stuff that happened and I'm going to be on the verge of crying because I didn't know. And so I just thought, oh, maybe they didn't want that. Maybe that's not good. And they were so supportive and pleased with it. And then in-ring wise, it's the same thing. They just let me go out and be myself and have fun, which... As simple as that sounds, I really, really missed wrestling being fun. And I didn't... It
should be fun.
It should... Oh, it's the coolest thing in the world. It should always be fun. Like, there is no cooler job than professional wrestling, right? Yeah. And because, like, I was a fan first and foremost, so it's like, this has always been fun to watch and then to train and then to do. It's the greatest thing. And it's really difficult when that becomes not fun. And you feel like the real you is, they're trying to strip that away from you, right? And that just jubilation you feel when you're in the ring, when that starts to diminish a little, you go home and you think about that. Oh, yeah. Because I recognized it, like, oh man, this isn't as fun as it was a couple months ago. And now at Impact, I am just... Like, I count down the days till we go to Nashville. Aww. Like, I get so fired up, and I text Jordan every single day. Like, we've become such good friends in real life. And
oh, that's so great.
And I just am so eager to go there and, what are we doing now? And this is so fun. And this is how wrestling should be, right? Yeah. And so I'm very thankful that, they kind of gave me that platform right away. Yeah. It's not like I had been there for a year and they were like, okay, she deserves it. Yeah. We can put her out there now. Yeah. I mean, my first match in the company was at Rebellion, and we won the Knockouts tag titles. So,
girl, you're preaching to the choir. I showed up being Little Miss Nobody, so don't even get me started.
Oh my gosh. Okay, for everyone listening, her first match back we are all like hovering around those TVs in that little lounge area. And matches will be on and we're all kind of doing our thing, and we all stopped and we're watching, and then, no joke, all of us, yes, oh my gosh, and then you're just the way you hit the ropes and your drop kicks, and we are just like, yes, girl, and like verbally saying these things, and then we're clapping, and you suddenly realize, like, what the hell, she can't see us or hear us. Like, we're just fans back here at these TVs. You killed it. Killed it. And oh my gosh, it's like the best feeling when you see somebody just go out there and kill it. And you're yes, girl,
it's so
she
exciting.
Killed that. It is like, it fires me up. Truly. Like, I'll see people go out and have like the performance of their life, and I am like, I feel alive. This is a great moment for me, and I didn't do anything, but I'm just like living in their excellence.
But that's why I feel like, besides that Impact hires you, they allow us a place to create almost like a family atmosphere. Whereas
totally,
when you strip us of what sets you apart in other companies, which is your income, you create this like equal playing ground. It's like everyone wears a uniform, so we're all sameness, that we are building something together. And we don't have the biggest budget, we are we're not an internationally publicly traded company, but fuck do we have heart. And I think we're building something huge again.
Yes. And man, does everybody there care.
Yeah. From the top to the bottom.
Exactly. Yes. And isn't it just a treat to be able to, I'll use Scott as an example since he's Mr. Head Honcho. I think it is such a treat to be able to just see him and go up to him and, joke around and talk. And it's not even talk about wrestling. Like, I can just talk to Scott like he's a dude, right?
Totally.
And he's so chill and just accepts us all for being these crazy kids that we are, right?
Yep. He collects us.
He loves us. Yeah. And same with Gail and anybody there. It's just like, oh man, I can actually just go right up to them and talk. I don't have to sit here for 20 minutes and plan out like, okay, look in the mirror. Hi. Hello. Nope, that sounded bad. Okay. Hey there. Shoot, no, don't say hey. That's not professional. Good evening. I'm Rachael Ellering. I work here. Right? It's like you can just go up and be like, Scott, what's up, man? It's so fun. And
it sounds stupid, but you doing that in your head, brings back some terrible memories.
That is a real thing. That's a real thing. I would sit there. I'm sure you've heard this from other people, and you're like, how do I say this? What do I say? I have to say it in the most, like, I don't want to sound like I'm asking for something way.
Yeah. I have to tell them my idea, but make it sound like it was their idea.
Yeah.
And then put them over for the idea I came up with, that I'm trying to make them believe they came up with, that they are doing me a favor. Get that?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
I just reverse mind fuck myself. I'm sweating.
Yes,
I don't want to live in this place.
Sweating onto you.
I don't want to live in this. I don't like this space anymore. I'm gonna sage it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We're moving again.
The juju is bad.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah.
But anyways,
just Impact is a joy. It's a joy. And something I love is, and then we can move on. I won't gush about it too much. I'm just very happy with where I am right now.
I'm glad.
I feel like all of us support each other as women and performers. But as a person, I really feel like, if I needed something or I needed to talk to someone, we have that group chat and, we'll just send birthday things or, this or that or whatever. And I just feel like I could send any of you a message and just say like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Yeah. And nobody thinks like, what does she want from me?
Yes.
It's just like, oh yeah, like, gosh, thank you for thinking of me, right? Yeah. Like, we're just kind of friendly with each other.
We have a community.
It's so nice. It's just wonderful. Yeah.
Well, let's keep it up with this high note.
Yeah.
So I want to do my 10 tailor-made questions with you.
Fun.
So it's kind of like a speed round, but I don't want you to feel rushed in your answers. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready to go?
I'm so ready.
Okay. Name a beauty product you cannot live without.
Headbands.
Obviously.
I mean, come on. I literally, I don't just wear them when I wrestle. Every day, all day, like bun, headband. It is me. It is she. Little side note on that question. I don't wear makeup unless it's for wrestling on TV, essentially. I own like 5 things of makeup, and I had to get them the night before my very first match, and I didn't know what to get, and so I had to call my best friend, and I was like, hey, I'm in Walgreens. What do I get for makeup? And she asked me, okay, what do you have? And I said, well, I've got lip gloss.
Yeah.
Period. That was it. That was all I had. And so I have 5 things, never wear makeup. So beauty product, I have to go with headband because that's
Headband,
me.
perfect. And 5 things.
Yeah, right?
What is your favorite exercise?
Squats.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. Oh my gosh, that's kind of hard.
And if you don't have one, that's okay. You
Yeah,
don't have to have one.
No, I don't get peeved too much. You know what? Here we go. I hate when people chew with their mouth open.
Yeah.
Like the sound of food smacking has always really bothered. I think that's passed down from my mom. Sorry, Mom.
That's fair.
I'm
And
calling
that's
you out
also
on this
manners.
podcast.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're not a barn animal. Clearly.
Right.
Yeah. Who is your celebrity crush?
Chris Hero.
Oh, you loser. I love you. That's her boyfriend, guys.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Okay. What is your favorite band or artist?
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy is my all-time favorite. State Champs is kind of a happy number 2 for. I like punk pop.
Okay.
I've always loved Paramore, Panic at the Disco, those kind of bands. And so I used to go to Warped Tours as a teenager.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I loved it. Loved it.
What was the last Warped Tour you went to?
Oh gosh. The last Warped Tour I went to, I was probably maybe 18. So I'm 28 now, so 10 years ago. But actually the last live concert I saw was State Champs. And so
nice.
it was, it was a punk pop concert. So, hey, and you're a punk rock girl, so look at
girl.
us.
We can hang.
Oh my gosh, of course we could.
Do you have a secret vice, like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
I don't feel 100% happy and like myself unless I work out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. I love it so damn much. And so I have to at least at some point throughout the day, even I'll have off days, but I'll still go for a nice long walk.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm very similar unless my body is screaming at me and I'm like, okay, I can break.
If it's the day after TV tapings, you're finding me on the couch.
Same.
Yeah.
What wrestler has the best entrance music?
Oh my gosh. I would say myself because I'm really into my Impact theme right now.
Yes, say yourself.
But of all time, I really love Edge.
Yeah.
Loved Edge's. I mean, I could rock out to that. I will say Aja Kong, all time greatest
Nice.
entrance song. I mean, one of the lyrics is, God made the devil just for fun. When he wanted the real thing, he made Aja Kong. Oh, what the first time I heard that watching her old matches, I was like, that is the most badass thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And she is badass, right?
She
It fits
is.
her 100%. And so I'll say her all time.
I love it. What is your drink of choice?
I like a good cup of coffee.
Nice.
Little known fact, I am straight edge. I've never even had a sip of alcohol. So
Really?
Yeah, ever. And what's so funny is that wasn't intentional. I didn't sit down one day and say, you know what, I'm never drinking alcohol.
Yep.
I was a bartender through college and everything.
No way.
Yeah. And so shoot, I'm a great sober cab.
I
Super
bet.
fun. Yeah. Yes. And so, I am a great sober cab. I will put myself over in that regard. But I love a good cup of coffee. I like tea. Those would be my top 2 picks.
Okay. What was your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Oh my goodness. Okay, here's one. I do this little bounce off the bottom spinning leg drop thing.
Okay.
And I went to do that on an indie show, and I just completely slipped off. I mean, the ropes aren't great on some of these shows, right? And I just completely slipped off and like landed on my butt. And I was like a year in, and so I didn't know, like, do I sell my butt now? Do I just get, and I just like got up really fast and then did it over again. And of course it's just like, meow.
We know what you're doing.
Yeah, right. Like, oh my gosh, this rookie girl sucks. And so I was so embarrassed. Now I can kind of giggle at it a little bit, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, we all make mistakes.
Yes.
But that will be my top pick.
And where can our listeners find you on the interwebs?
Oh, they can find me. Okay, I think, what is my Twitter? At Rachael Ellering. Yeah. And then my Instagram is at the Rachael Ellering.
Cool. Okay,
yeah.
Last question. Finish this lyric.
Fun.
One night and one more time. Thanks
for the memories. Yeah! Girl, this is the best. Oh my gosh, fun.
Well done, girl. Well done.
Oh my God, you are so wonderful. Thank you for this.
No, thank you.
This was like a mix of chatting with a friend / therapy. What a beautiful combo.
Thank you. That is what I want to bring to the world.
Yeah. Oh my, and I miss you dearly. I can't wait to see you in a few weeks.
Me too. Let's hang out for sure.
Yes.